What I love to do on this channel, what I've been doing for many years now, you guys who've been subscribed now for years, you know that this has been a particular passion of mine to reveal the new EVs in China that you guys in America can't buy. Now, actually, this car can't be bought anywhere outside of China at the moment. I mean, there are plans for it to be sold out of China, but whether or not that even happens, I have no idea. However, this is the new Neo. Well, it's not called a Neo, it's called a Firefly, because Neo, in all their wisdom, decided they needed three different brands. Firefly is Neo's new budget EV brand. I've got to say, the looks are, for me, particularly polarizing. Guys, I'm curious to know how you feel. Did they, do you think they want this a real winner with the style in this car? Or do you think it looks a bit odd? I think it's a bit odd. Here are the details behind the Neo Firefly affordable budget EV. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching The Electric Viking. Great to have you with us. You know what, guys? Happy New Year. This year's going to be amazing. Thank you for supporting us on either Patreon or as a YouTube member. I'll put links to those pages in the description below. The Neo-backed Firefly EV revealed core specs in China. Basically, what has to happen in China is when you go to sell a new car there, you've got to give those details to the government. Then the government actually releases those details to the public domain before that car goes on sale. So you have no choice. In China, if you want to have a secret specs for your car when it's going to be revealed, it's almost impossible to do this because this information becomes public information usually well before the car goes on sale. And in this case, that's happened again. It's 4 meters long, right? So it's about the size of a BYD Dolphin. It's rear-wheel drive, like the MG4, and it has a 105 kilowatt motor, which is 141 horsepower. It also has a swappable battery, so it's capable of doing battery swapping. Now, this is apparently designed for European markets. So, I mean, it's not being sold in Europe yet, but maybe it will be. You never know. It could happen. Neo does sell vehicles in Europe. The Firefly EV was actually revealed at Neo Day 2024. The price, I think it's way too expensive for what it is. In fact, I think it's incredibly expensive. It's 21,000 US dollars, about 149,000 RMB. And honestly, the reason I say it's too expensive because there's really good cars that are as good, I think, as good as this for $12,000. I just did a video on the Aeon, their new hatchback, right? And that honestly is very similar to this car, and it starts at $12,000. So I'm not really sure that this is going to do well at this price. And if you think about it, right, you can get an XPeng Mona, which is a direct rival to a Tesla Model 3 for $16,800. So you're telling me you're going to go pay $4,000 more for this hatchback that has, very low amount of power? I don't really get it. But anyway, here are the details. And let me know if you agree. I mean, let me know if you think that actually, Sam, you're wrong. This is going to do really well. Dimensions, it's exactly 4 meters long. So it's actually about 10% smaller than a BYD Dolphin, the international version, about 10% smaller than the MG4. So 4,003 millimeters, 1,781 millimeters wide, and 1,557 millimeters tall. Wheelbase is 2.6 meters. Overhangs are pretty short, 680 mil and 708 degrees on the back. The car's approach and departure angles are 21 and 26 degrees, but it's not an off-road car, so no one cares about those numbers anyway. So the Firefly EV is actually around 29 centimeters shorter than the global BYD Dolphin, meaning it's a pretty small hatch, actually. I mean, it's not going to have a big boot as a result. There's three versions, right? The car's weight is 1,492 kilograms. So that's around 3,750 pounds. The weight's not bad, I think. The weight's pretty reasonable for this kind of vehicle. Certainly not light, but it's not too bad. Now, one of the reasons why it's not super lightweight, considering its size, is because of that swappable battery. So then it's not a structural battery pack. It's not like, it doesn't use gigacastings as far as I know. So it doesn't really have that sort of ability to save weight like Tesla and XPeng and some Xiaomi, other car manufacturers have. It has apparently 5-link independent rear suspension from Multimatic and an IPB system from Bosch. It also has a 50-50 ratio weight distribution between axles. That's very common though for electric cars. It's quite easy. You know how internal combustion cars, sports car manufacturers would rave on Porsche 911. It's got 50-50 weight distribution, amazing technological feat. And I still see this today. And I think, guys, 50% of electric cars on the market have 50-50 weight distribution. That's nothing. I mean, it's really not a big deal anymore. Range is, well, not great. It's 225 kilometers, but that's with a 75% charged battery. Why they've given that number, I don't know. Very strange. One would assume, therefore, if that's 75%, it should have around 300 kilometers of WLTP range, which is still a lot less than some of its rivals, right? I mean, for example, the BYD Dolphin with the bigger battery pack, a 60 kilowatt pack, has 435 kilometers of WLTP range, and it's still a lot cheaper and it's bigger. Can you see my point now? You know, it's really not that good value for money. Anyhow, other highlights though from NIO say it has a 4.7 meter turning circle. Let's be honest though, does any 4 meter car need super steering? They all have really small turning circles, in my opinion, in my experience. But it also has a frunk, that's good, 92 litre frunk, and a trunk that has up to 1,250 litres, which is less than its rivals, once again. It does have 9 airbags and a torsional rigidity of 35,700 newton meters. Guys, honestly, I've searched the webs. I've searched the interwebs for details on this car. As far as I can tell, those are the specs. Rear-wheel drive, about 300 kilometers of WLTP range. Swappable battery, if that's your thing. Most people are not interested in that, to be honest. But in China, maybe there will be. If I would say if a huge number of people were interested in swappable batteries, then NIO would sell a lot more cars. That's my perspective on that. But anyway, I mean, the reason I say that is, guys, is because there is so many DC fast chargers in China. There's just literally hundreds of thousands. They're everywhere. So I just don't think swappable batteries are really necessary. But I know some people love them. That's okay. All in all, I actually kind of like this EV just because it's weird and quirky, but I do think it's significantly overpriced. And as a result, I don't believe it's going to be a sales winner. I think NIO will have no choice but to reduce the price of this car. You know, the odd thing about all of this to me is that NIO have changed the name of this. They wanted to rebrand these cars, right? And call them Firefly, not call them NIO, because NIO's like, well, this is our cheap brand. You know, we don't want to damage our NIO brand by having cheaper cars under the NIO brand. So we'll put our cheaper cars under a different brand called Firefly. That's the strategy, which would make sense. But this is not this is a $21,000 car, $21,700. And to be honest, it's sort of priced like a premium car. Considering the size of it in China, I mean, it is priced like a premium car in China for its size. So I don't really understand the whole point of making this new brand. I don't think it was a real net positive, but you know what? I could be totally wrong. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments.